Hey YouTube, today I'm going to give you a quick video tutorial on how you can replace your rear door power door lock actuators on your second generation Acura 1.7 EL or your 7th generation Honda Civic sedan. Basically the phenomenon I'm experiencing here with this vehicle is that when I hit unlock on the key fob, this is what happens to the door. And despite the fact that other doors can open just fine, so when I hit unlock a second time, it'll open just fine. But then you'll notice that the door lock plunger goes back to the lock position. So if you've got a child, if you're loading passengers or groceries into your vehicle, this can be a rather sort of a hassle here to have to keep hitting unlock numerous times to get this door open. So I'm going to show you how to replace that. So before we can actually gain access to the power door lock actuator behind this door panel, we actually need to remove this panel assembly. And before we can do that, we're going to need a couple of basic tools. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, small flat bladed screwdriver, as well as a door panel trim tool such as this. First we need to remove the little trim cover located behind the handle here by placing a flat bladed screwdriver and essentially prying this cover off in this manner. Then remove the two Phillips screws holding this door assembly to the door frame. We will next need to disconnect the door handle retaining clip, which is right here. And what we're going to do is that we're just simply going to flip this over in such a manner like this, so it looks like that, and then essentially lift this rod out. Remove the trim cover piece on the handle assembly by inserting a flat bladed screwdriver, and you can use the same screwdriver you were using earlier or a larger one, into a slot located in directly behind here. Pull the cover assembly away from the handle. Next, undo the entire door panel assembly from the vehicle frame by removing the screws located here and here. These two screws that are clearly visible do not need to be undone. Next, using your trim tool, we're going to get underneath the door panel and begin prying away and releasing the top rivets holding this door panel to the door assembly. Lift this assembly off as a whole off the door. When the door panel has been removed, we're going to press this little tab here and then disconnect the power window switch as such. To gain access to the power door lock actuator assembly, we need to peel this water barrier back, and on this vehicle the actuator is actually located in this region here, and so of course we're going to have to peel this plastic, and in doing so we need to make sure that we carefully undo this plastic retaining rivet by using our trim tool underneath it and just pry away, and then gently peeling away the sealant on the door panel to gain access to the actuator, which is located down here. This is the actuator assembly right here that's not working properly, and it's actually really easy to replace. You just basically disconnect this wiring harness and then using your Phillips screwdriver undo the two retaining screws, and then we're going to pull the actuator away from the vehicle and then turn this orange swing arm on the linkage to pull it off. So this is the replacement actuator I ordered from Honda, and I believe it's only available from Honda, and the part number for on this car, which is the right rear passenger side of the car, is 72615-S5A-003. And I believe the cost on this thing was about $70 at the Honda Canada dealership. I'm sure in the United States it's probably a little bit cheaper, but basically this is the old one and this is the new one. So to reinstall it is simply in the reverse order of removal, and we just slide it onto the rod assembly here, reattach this with our two screws, harness connector. And if you want, you can even actually do a quick functional check to make sure that it's working properly by operating your power door locks. And you can now go ahead and reinstall the water shield assembly. And I'm going to try to make use of the old adhesive as best as I can, just by stretching it back to where it was before I removed it, and then pressing firmly down on the adhesive, popping this end rivet piece in, and then ever so carefully lining the old lines back. So this is what the back side of the door panel looks like, and the reason why I'm showing you guys the back of the panel is because you need to make sure that the little plastic retaining rivets here are all still intact and firmly seated into the grooves that were cut out in the door panel, or door card assembly as some people would refer them to. So to reinstall the panel, we need to make sure that during the reinstallation process that we plug back in the power window wiring harness. Starting from this front corner here, press it against the door frame rail, and then just working your door panel into position. And everything should line up as far as the gaps go, and even this window rail and to the end of the door panel, or sorry, to the door frame. And then if you just gently push on this, it should just snap into place with almost no effort. Now, to make sure that everything's aligned, you can also try actuating this plunger piece by hand, and if it works smoothly, then odds are you've lined up everything correctly. Reattach the rod through the little hole, and then we're going to flip it to lock it into place in the reverse order how we removed it. Reattach the handle to the door with the Phillips screws. Reinstall your little cover piece. Now, this cover piece here, how do you know what orientation goes up? Is that there's a single tab up here with a little cutout for the small screwdriver that goes on the top. Reinstall the lower door panel screws. And then your final step is to reinstall the door handle garnish piece by placing this end first into the door handle, and then folding the top portion like this edge on, and then giving a good solid whack with your hand. Lock, unlock, close door, open door. So as you can tell from my quick video tutorial, that with some basic hand tools that you can replace this faulty door actuator on your 2nd generation Acura EL sedan or your 7th generation Honda Civic in less than 15 minutes, saving yourself a whole bunch of heartache and aggravation when the time comes that you need this door to unlock properly. I hope you found this video useful and informative. Rate, comment, and subscribe.